though it just looked crazy. It just looked a mess. It really looked a mess because she went against my professional advice. I don't care. Hey guys, so I usually have a different background for these kind of story times, and I'm actually very upset because it is raining like crazy. The sky is black, okay? It is 1 p.m., okay? Here in Miami, Florida. The sky is black. What was that? Anyway, the sky is black and there's literally no sunlight, so I have to use my artificial ring light, and you know, I feel like it gives a different vibe, you know. It's not my client story time vibe, but whatever. Also, it is 1,000 degrees outside and I'm wearing a turtleneck because I feel like I miss fall fashion, and it's like, why not get in the mood? Let's be fall today. So yeah, I'm wearing a crew neck, even though, or not a crew neck, what is this? A turtleneck, even though I need to take this off immediately afterwards because I will die of a heat stroke. So now that that's out of the way, how's everyone doing? I hope you all are doing well. I just want to give a lovely shout out to all my lovely subscribers. I really want to say thank you guys so much. Like the OG people that have came from when I had like 100 subscribers, like 50 subscribers, to now like the new subscribers. And I really appreciate you guys liking, watching, commenting, following me on Instagram and talking to me. Like I never ever want that to go unnoticed. I kind of like skip over it sometimes in some of my videos because I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I always want to let you guys know I greatly appreciate it. So thank you. Anyway, on to the story time. Now, I know I would love to sit here and say I'm so amazing, I never got a bad review, I never did a bad job, everybody just loved me. I would love to sit here and say that, but you know, there were some hiccups along the road, and this is one of them. Now, this is a actual story of somebody who just didn't like me. I didn't vibe with them, they didn't vibe with me. They were very difficult and left me a bad review. So let's talk about it. This was my first client of the day. She was a haircut, and they had a note in there that she had curly hair. Mind you, I'm gonna keep reiterating this throughout the video. I already know I am. I don't know if y'all know, but I have curly hair, okay? I have super thick, coarse, curly hair. I'll put in photos, okay? This is my curly hair, right? I get my hair to look like this. Why? Because I know how curly hair works, and I do what I do with curly hair. Remember that. So, I have a haircut coming in today, and whatever, she's my first client of the day. So, I was waiting on my client. She comes in, let's say her appointment, it was like the beginning of the day, so it had to be at like 9. So let's say her appointment was at 9. I'm sitting here, I'm waiting, no show, nothing. So I was like, all right, whatever. I had the receptionist call her. She said that she's on her way. So I was like, all right, perfect. She's on her way. You're late, but you're on your way. That's fine. Cool. Still in a good mood, didn't care. She comes in. I am me, you know, I turn it on and I was like, hi, nice to meet you. My name is Samantha. You can come follow me. So I take her back to the chair. She sits down, and off rip, she was really dry. Like, did not talk, didn't say anything. Usually you can get like, oh, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. No, she didn't give me none of that. She was very dry as soon as she sat in my chair. So let me give y'all a synopsis of this lady's hair, because this story really makes me upset. So she has thin, curly hair that's sitting like on top of her shoulder almost, right? Now, her hair had nothing to it. It was literally just curl, like this light curl, and there was no layers, no dimension, no nothing. Like, her hair was natural, completely natural, one length. So I'm asking her, I was like, all right, so I see you're down for a haircut. Like, what are you thinking about doing today? Like, what do you think? She was like, I want, like, my hair is just too heavy at the bottom. It's way too heavy at the bottom. So I was like, okay, well, the reason why it feels like it's so heavy on the bottom is just because you don't have any layers or anything in your hair. As soon as I said you don't have any layers or anything in your hair, she was like, I don't want layers. So I was just like, okay, girl, well, that's why your hair is heavy at the bottom. So I was just like, okay, so what were you kind of thinking? Like, did you want like a cut? Do you want like a trim? Like, what are you feeling? And so she was basically telling me that she just wanted to get it thinned out at the bottom with no layers. And this is just me being a stickler. Like, a lot of people, if you don't know the terminology of a hair salon or like cutting and stuff, you're just gonna say a whole bunch of things that you hear. What she was asking for did not make sense. Like, you want to thin your hair out at the bottom, but you don't want layers. But your hair is already thin, so there is nothing to thin out. If I thin out your hair, it's gonna be like straggly. You're gonna look weird. So I'm trying to, like, you know, I'm trying to get something out of her, and she's not giving it to me. So I'm just like, all right, so this is what we're gonna do. That's fine, cool. So I was like, all right, do you have any pictures of anything that, you know, you like? So I pull out my phone and I go on Pinterest and I'm looking up like kind of similar to her hair, but like more curlier hairstyles. So I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of like what she had. And I'm gonna see, like, I'm gonna put up pictures that I was kind of requesting, or not requesting, what is it, recommending to her. I was trying to give her like a little bit of inspiration, and I was really just trying to convince her, because if you know anything about like thick hair, if you cut thick hair really short in one length, you can get this whole Dora vibe, right? You can get that whole triangle look. And that's pretty much what she had, except her hair was thinner and it was curly. So she had like a very Dora-esque kind of look to her. So I was trying to give her some recommendations to kind of give her more of like a trendier face framing kind of look. That's what I was trying to give her. I'm like, I'm trying to get you trendy, girl. I'm trying to get you with the times. Like, what's going on? So I'm giving her all these recommendations, and she's just basically like, no. And that's like the attitude she was giving me. She's like, no, I don't like these. No. So I was just like, all right. So basically, like, what I can do is I can just really refresh your ends, like give you a good trim, and we're not gonna do layers or anything. That's literally what I said. We're gonna give you a good trim, because she didn't want a lot cut off and she didn't want layers. So what do you want me to do with your hair, girl? What is it that you want me to do with your hair? You don't want anything done to your hair, so whatever. So I asked her as well. I was like, are you leaving with your hair curly today, or did you want to blow dry it or anything? Because some people wear their hair curly every single day, but then when they go to a hair salon, they do want to blow out, just, you know, spice it up. So I asked her, is that what she was thinking about? And she was like, no, I don't want any heat on my curls. So I was like, okay. So take her to the shampoo bowl. She was like, do you guys do eyebrows? And I was like, yeah, we do eyebrows. I can do your eyebrows for you. And she was like, okay, cool. So I laid her back. I shampooed her hair. I put a deep conditioner on her hair. And I like got her ready to do her eyebrows. Now, once again, I don't know how you like your eyebrows. So I have to ask you how you like your eyebrows, okay? So she's laying back, and I asked her, I was like, okay, so what kind of shape do you like? Are we just cleaning them up? Are we reshaping them? Like, what are we thinking? I always ask a bunch of questions, and I don't really care if it's annoying, because I need to know as much information as I possibly can to make sure that you like to make sure that there's no miscommunications, and to make sure that I give you exactly what you're looking for. So I'm sorry if that bothers you, but I don't care. I have to ask you all these questions to make sure you like, you know, your service. So I'm asking her, I'm like, okay, so are we just cleaning them up? Are we reshaping them? And she was like, I don't know, you know, just whatever they need done. And I'm like, okay, girl, you're not giving me the type of vibes that you get your eyebrows done regularly. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So, you know when people like, you see how like my eyebrows are like, there's a shape to them. You know when you don't get them done when you're growing them out. And so like all that hair right there. So it kind of just like turns into like a big cloud of hair, you know. So that's what she had. She had a lot of eyebrow to work with, but she wasn't giving me like, obviously I'm not gonna give somebody, if you're more of like a natural-esque, I'm not gonna give you the Kim Kardashian brow and you're gonna look at me like, what did you do? You know, like not everybody likes these eyebrows, not everybody likes that shape, you know. So I'm very much like trying to accommodate to what you like. So I'm asking her and she was just like, I don't know, like whatever you think, like just clean them up. So that she just said, just clean them up. So that's exactly what I did. I didn't put any shape to them. I just took off the excess hair that was around it, whatever. So as soon as I put the wax on her, she's like, ow, that's too hot. So I was just like, oh, I'm so sorry. I tested it on my hand. I particularly didn't think that it was hot, but whatever, it's subjective. It might have been too hot for her. So I was just like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. You know, I mean, what else do you want me to do? Like, I already burned you, so I can only say I'm sorry. So I was just like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. So I waited like 50 extra seconds to put the wax on her. So I'm waxing her eyebrow and I'm just like, girls, no, waxing your eyebrow hurts. Waxing your mustache hurts. Like, it's your face getting pulled with wax. So I'm like pulling the wax off and she's just like, ow, 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 every time that I would pull the wax off. So I'm just like, okay. So I kept asking her like, oh, are you okay? Like, oh, are you okay? And she was just like, no, this hurts. So I'm like, all right, girl, like, I don't know what it is you want me to tell you. I don't know. Girl, I don't know what you want me to tell you. You're getting your eyebrows waxed. That's like getting mad at your wax when you're getting a Brazilian. Like getting mad at the lady that your Brazilian wax hurts. Like, what do you want me to tell you? It's wax. So I was just like, oh my God. So I'm just trying to like diffuse the situation. I'm trying to get her, because at this point I'm just getting irritated. And so I'm trying to like make conversation. I was like, oh, is this your first time getting waxed? And she was like, no, that's why I don't understand why it hurts so bad. So I'm just like, all right, you're just rude. So I'm not about to sit here and play with you. That's fine. You can be rude all by yourself. So I finished her eyebrows. And I did like the minimum. Like I literally just cleaned them up. On top of that, she's over here like squirming because she said it hurts so bad. So I was just like, all right, I'm not gonna keep playing with your eyebrows. Like I'm not. So I give her the mirror and I was like, all right, so what are we thinking? Mind you, still trying to be nice to her. And she was like, they look the same. So I'm just like, all right, girl. All right, fine. So I was just like, okay, so what are we thinking? Like, did you want them a little bit thinner? Do you feel like you want them more of an arch? What's going on? Like, what are you thinking? And she was basically like, it just doesn't look like you did anything. Like, they don't have any shape to them. So I was just like, all right, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and shape them up for you. So that's exactly what I did. I took her from the little cloud and I gave her more of a shape. Still doing the whole ow, ow, ow business thing that she got going on. So I was just like, yeah, all right. Now you're kind of like dragging it because, girl, your eyebrows hurt, but it's not that deep. So, and I was like, I know I'm not leaving the wax on too long. I know the wax is not hot. Like, I don't understand why she keeps yelling ow, but whatever. So I'm just like, okay, girl, okay. So then I finished her eyebrows and she is a lighter skin complexion. So of course her eyebrows are going to turn red. So before I did her eyebrows too, you know, you'll have to ask people like, oh, are you sensitive? Have you gotten them done before? Blah, blah, blah. They have to tell you yes, 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 whatever. So her eyebrows, you know, the skin around her face was red. And so she like, I give her the mirror and I was like, okay, so how do you like your eyebrows? She's like, oh my God, I've never been so red after getting my eyebrows waxed before. Like, what did you do? And I'm like, all right, girl, I waxed your eyebrows. We use regular basic wax. I was just like, okay, girl, I was like, oh, well, you know, sometimes people's skin gets a little bit more irritated than others. And she's like, I've never had them look like this. So I'm just like, all right, so. Okay. I was like, well, I'm so sorry about that. We can put some cooling oil. Cause you know, like the stuff after you wax somebody's eyebrow, you can put on to kind of just like cool the skin down. I was like, we could put some cooling oil or anything. And she was like, no, you're just gonna irritate them more. So I was like, all right, girl. Okay. Okay. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Okay. So I finished it. I gave her little like shampoo, condition. I washed everything out. So we went right back to the chair. Mind you, with everybody that I put a deep conditioner on, I give them a nice little head massage. And like after the whole ordeal with the eyebrows, I was like, let me just give her a head massage. Maybe it'll loosen her up a little bit, calm her down, and we'll see how it goes, right? Oh my God. After that, I thought everything was peachy keen. I didn't think everything was peachy. I'm lying. I thought everything was a little bit better because I did do the scalp massage. Maybe I'm just stupid and like, I don't know. If you're pissed, the scalp massage ain't gonna do nothing to you. But so we go back to the chair and she sits down and she's looking at her eyebrows in the mirror, and then she just has like this really, really serious face. So I put a cape on her. And I brushed out her hair. Like I said, her hair is so thin. So thin. So well, it's not even that curly. It's like curly, but it's thin. So whatever. I comb out her hair and I was like, oh, do you part your hair to a certain side? And she was like, no. So I was like, okay, I'm going to cut it, or I'm going to part your hair down the middle. So that way, whichever way you go, you can do that, you know, because if I wear my hair like this every single day, I should get the cut like this. If I switch it up, you should do it down the middle. So if I want to go this way, that way, you know, so you can be a little bit more versatile. So I go ahead, I part her hair down the middle, I split it, whatever. I'm cutting it, and so I did the initial cut. Like I said, she didn't want layers. She didn't want anything to her hair. So it took me 2 seconds to do, okay? It was dun, 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 boom, bang, pow, you know? So I was like, okay, so how is this length feeling? And she was like, it doesn't look any different. And I was like, okay, do you want to take it a little bit shorter then? And she was like, nothing shorter. So it's like sitting about right here. And she's like, nothing shorter than my chin. And I had cut it to like right here, right? So we're like sitting, this is her hair. This is where I cut it. She doesn't want it anything shorter than that. So, but I was just like, it's gonna look, if I cut it any shorter without layers, you are going to look crazy. So I told her, I was like, okay, so like we said, like I was telling you earlier, if we don't cut any layers, if I go any shorter, your hair is just gonna look very boxy, and like it's just not gonna kind of flow and kind of have that natural curl to it. I also told her that I encouraged her to get layers because it'll put more bounce in her curls. Her hair was like kind of wavy and then curly at the end. If you put some layers into it, it'll give it, you know, more of like a movement kind of thing, and it'll bounce the curls back up. She was not having it. She was like, I already said I don't want layers. Like, if you're not going to cut any short, then don't cut it any shorter. So I'm just like, all right, girl. Okay. Okay, fine. So I was like, I just don't recommend cutting it any shorter without doing any layers. You're going to be dry with me. I'm going to be dry with you because at this point, like, we're not going anywhere. So she was just like, all right, that's fine. Leave it like this. Okay. So I was like, how do you normally style your hair? She said, verbatim, I don't use product. So I was like, okay, well, what I'm going to use today is, I remember the products that I use in everything. I said, because I do this all the time with people with hair like that, I said, I'm going to use the Be Curly Style Prep with a little bit of Confixer, so that way it'll hold your curls without giving you that frizzy, like any type of frizz to it. And it's also lightweight, so that way you don't feel like you have like gel or anything in your hair. She said, I don't want the Confixer because the Confixer is more like a gel kind of consistency. She's like, I don't want the Confixer. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to put some Be Curly Style Prep in your hair. I'm just going to get it around, whatever. I was like, do you usually let it air dry? Do you diffuse it? And she was like, it's up to you. So I told her I was going to diffuse it so that way she can see how the cut is, whatever. She was like, okay, I get my diffuser. Now, to diffuse somebody's hair, I can only do so much with you, like, putting the hair like this, right? So I asked her, I was like, hi, I was like, hey, can you put your head, like, flip your hair forward so I can get underneath? And she was like, for what? Mind you, she said, for what? And I was like, just to make sure that I get an even dry to the hair. And she's like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do all that. So I was just like, okay, well, it's just only going to be like, your hair's still going to be kind of like half curly, half wet, half dry. And she was like, that's fine. Just towel dry the rest. So I was just like, okay. So I diffused as much as I could so I could get the top or whatever. And then I took a towel and I just started scrunching it up to make it nice and curly again, even though it just looked crazy. It just looked a mess. It really looked a mess because she went against my professional advice. I don't care. So I was like, all right, how do we feel about it? And she was just like, it's fine. And I could tell she's not liking it. So I was just like, do you want to try to put a little bit more layers in it? Do you want to put a little bit more product in it? And she was like, no, it's fine. So at that point, you know what? I don't care about customers always right. I don't care about anything. Maybe I'm wrong in this part. But I was just like, all right, you don't want to work with me. I don't want to work with you. So whatever. You don't want to be here. I don't want you here either. So I was just like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and walk you to the front. We're going to get to this. I never in a million years bring up price, bring up anything unless they ask, unless I need to bring it up. At the end of the day, like the haircut, you're going to pay for the haircut, whatever. So I never say anything about like tips. I'm just not with it. So I always say, all right, I'm going to walk you up to the front. Whatever happens between you, the price, that's between you and the receptionist. I always walk away. I never say that, but remember that because that comes up. So I walk her up. I was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and walk you up to the front. And then I said, is there any products or anything that you were looking for or anything? She said no. She's like, no, I'm fine. She's being mad dry with me. She didn't like the way I did her hair. She doesn't like me. She doesn't want anything to do with me. Okay, fine. That is A-okay. I didn't even want to sit here and charge her for the eyebrows situation because she was so annoying. So I just left it at the haircut. I didn't charge her for the eyebrows. I just left it at the haircut, whatever. So then she pays or whatever. She leaves. Literally in the parking lot. She writes this review. So she's over here saying, don't come to this salon if you have curly hair. They don't know how to work with curly hair. I told her you can go pay up front. And I didn't put any product in her hair. I didn't do anything. And I'm just like, you see. And I got this whole thing. I got this comment before in one of my last videos. Like, oh, you never, what did she say? It was like, oh, you never felt uncomfortable or not comfortable enough to tell somebody you don't like your hair. This is where I draw the line, and this is where I can't stand with people. You'll do this whole show about like, ow, ow, ow. You'll do this, that, and the third. But then when it comes to like the end of your service, you could talk all that. You could say whatever it is that you want. You could tell me how much, like, oh, it's fine. I don't want to flip my hair over. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. You could do all that. But then when it's time to talk about your hair and if you like it and I'm asking you, I'm not coming at you. I'm literally asking you, like, do you want to change something? Do you want to fix it? And I'm giving you the opportunity. You want to give me an attitude and you're mute. But then you'll go ahead and write a review in the parking lot. I'm sorry. No, maybe I do like empathy. Maybe I do whatever. But at the end of the day, like, what? So she writes that review, okay? So then my manager calls me and she was like, hey, this lady wrote this review. What happened? I'm going to call her after I get off the phone with you. And I was just like, I honestly, like, I was trying to talk to her because at this time we had cameras in our salon. I was trying to talk to her. I was trying to get her to like tell me what she wanted. I was like, you can see I'm literally trying to talk to her and she's not having it with me. She's not giving me anything to work with. So yeah, your service was literally like 20 minutes long. The longest I took was on your eyebrows because you kept moving. So you want to say it was rushed, it was this, it was that. It was you. Like, it was you. What are you talking about? So she's over here. I told my manager that. I was like, honestly, look at the cameras and you could see the interaction. You could see how we were with each other. She wasn't giving me anything to work with. She wasn't trying it. So, and when I tried to put product in her hair, she told me not to put the product in her hair. So what do you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you want me to do? Y'all. So she wrote that review. Okay, it was a Facebook review. She wrote that review on our Facebook page. She tells the manager that I didn't talk to her. I was so rude to her. I made her feel unwelcome, this, that, and the third. Which, you know, I beg to differ. We're going to have to, agree to disagree, because I don't feel like it went that way. I have my side of the story. You have your side of the story. Somewhere in between is the truth. So, whatever. I'm telling you, look how the world goes round. My mom used to work at a church. I went to visit my mom one day. Do y'all know that one of the ladies that worked at the church that my mom worked at was her? What? I didn't even give her name this story time. That's how annoying she was. It was her. And so my mom was like, oh, have you met? We're going to give her a name. We're going to call her Miss Aubrey. So, oh, have you met Miss Aubrey? This is da-da-da, whatever, of the church. And I look at her, and she's looking at me. And she turns to my mom, and she was like, yes, I remember you. Like, you did my hair that one day. Like, oh my God, you did such an amazing job. And then she turns to my mom and she's like, oh my God, your daughter is so talented. Your daughter is so nice. I just looked at her and I looked at my mom. Girl, you are lucky that this is my mom's job. And, ooh, so I just looked at her and I was like, And then my mom, she like, once the lady went away, my mom was like, what's your problem? Like, why are you talking to her like that? Because my mom is so annoying when it comes to like, if somebody disrespects me, I can disrespect them back. But my mom is so old school about respect your elders and all that other stuff. Yeah, we don't see eye to eye with stuff like that. So she was like, what's your problem? Why do you look at her like that? Why you talk like that? Why you have an attitude with her? And I was like, yeah, that's the same lady that was so rude to me when she came to my job to get her hair done. And then she left a really bad Facebook review. And now she wants to sit in your face, talk about, oh, I'm so nice, I'm so talented, I'm so this. That's what I'm saying. Like, people really, it's like that. Ooh, I almost said this. It's like that, that when I had to pay her back story time, like, just the fakeness, She didn't have to say anything. Like, if my mom was like, oh, look at that, she was like, oh, how are you? You could have kept that same dry attitude that you had at the salon. You could have kept it at the church, but not, you want to be fake, right? So that, I don't even know if this was my worst client. This is just my annoying client. Like, girl, this is how people act, bro. This is how people act. And at the end of the day, like, whether you liked what I did to your hair or not, or whatever the situation was, like, tell my manager. Why did you go on Facebook? That's what I'm saying. This is going to be a rant. Like, you are not bold, right? You're not bold on, like, in real life, but Lord knows, once you get behind that computer, once you get behind that cell phone, and you get on Facebook and you get anywhere else, you just, the biggest balls of the nation I see you have. Like, oh my God. Anyway, that was that story time. I've been hesitant to kind of like make that story time because I feel like I'm just like coming at her, but whatever, it is what it is. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Sorry we had to switch up the scenery, but we'll be back when the sun comes right back out. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.